Hi, everyone. Welcome to Nursing the Livingston Way. My name is Susan Livingston, and thank you for being here. Let's see what we're going to talk about today. If you are in nursing school and have had this, or you have been through nursing school, I am probably 100% sure that Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development are going to give you PTSD. And I remember going through nursing school, and I don't know if I truly got it either, but it's really, really fascinating. Do not click off. This video is for anybody. You don't even have to be in nursing school to benefit from this. So I would really love everyone in your family to watch it because it's really, really cool. So let's get going. Erikson was a developmental psychologist, and he studied all these ages of people. Got older person, young, middle-aged, all through their life, and studied psychosocial development. In other words, how the individual, depending upon how old they are, relate to others and the environment. And guess what? The psychosocial needs and structure changes as we get older. So let's learn about that, okay? And it's probably on NCLEX. Okay, so you see we've got all ages here. Okay, and we've said all this, the psychosocial needs is going to change as you get older because the way we interact with each other and the environment changes as we get older too. And currently, everybody watching this video is in one of his 8 stages of psychosocial development, including myself. So let's just try to figure out where we all are, where we've been, and where we're going. Okay. In these stages, it's really fairly simple. The stages always have 2 sides, blank versus blank. And we're going to put words in there in a minute. And the first word listed is always the well-adjusted, the well-developed side, psychosocially, with other people and the environment. And that's what we want is the first side. The second side, or the second word, is the poorly adaptive, poorly adjusted side, and we don't want that at all for anybody. And as we go through these stages, if you're more than likely on the first side, when you go into the next stage, you're more than likely going to be on the first side again, and so forth and so on through your life. But if you get started out on the bad side, chances are maybe as you go through those stages, you'll always stay on the bad side. Maybe. Doesn't mean that you will, because you could get out of it. But let's just take a look at this, okay? Let's make this fun. This, I think, is fascinating. Okay. What I want to say, though, is no matter what side you're on, it is going to build a foundation for you when you go on to the next stage, good or bad. Okay, so here are the 8 stages. I'm just going to put them up real quick. Let's not stress about this slide right now. But a baby, and here is baby considered about a baby's age. And his words or his stage is trust versus mistrust, good side versus bad side. And I will explain that, so let's not worry about it just yet. Baby's going to get older. He's going to become a toddler, start walking around, stuff like that around that age. Autonomy versus shame and doubt, good side, bad side. Toddler's going to get older. He's going to go preschool, be preschool age, 3 to 5. His stage is initiative versus guilt. He's going to get even older. He's going to be school age, like 6 years to 12 years. Industry versus inferiority. Then he's going to get even older. He's going to become a teenager. He's going to be adolescent. That's like 13, 18 years. Identity versus role confusion is his stage. Then you can be a young adult, like a lot of the students I teach now. And that's like 19 to 40 years of age. Intimacy versus isolation is their stage. And then you get to me, a middle adult, from 40 to 65, and I am 65. And I'm in generativity versus stagnation. But when August comes, I'm going to be considered an older adult, and I will be in another stage altogether called ego integrity versus despair, or simply integrity versus despair. So let's learn about these stages, the good side and bad side, so we can understand how we're going to, as we age, interact psychosocially with the people in our world and the environment we're in. Okay, let's go over here. Let's look at this little baby, and he's so cute. He's just an infant. His stage is trust versus mistrust, and he doesn't know this. But the big question surrounding psychosocial development for him is the world a safe place? It's not like he's laying there thinking, is the world a safe place? Because he doesn't even know what the world is. But here's how we can make him feel safe. Okay? How to develop trust. This is the good side. This is the first word. Remember, I said something versus something. So trust versus mistrust. Here's how we develop trust for the baby. The infant cries and his needs are met. He cries, somebody feeds him, somebody changes him, somebody plays with him, somebody gives him medicine if he's sick, things along that line. And he begins to realize that he can trust his caregivers, and this world's a safe place. It's so simple. Take care of your baby's needs, and he will begin to trust. That's going to get him off on a good foot as he gets older and goes through the different stages. And if he starts out in the trust stage, when he gets the other stages, he'll be on stronger footing, and that's good. That's real good for him. Now, if you want to develop mistrust in that baby, infant cries and his needs aren't met. Maybe mom's neglectful. Maybe mom and dad are out on drugs and being gone for 2 days, and a 5-year-old's taking care of the baby. 5-year-old doesn't know how to take care of a baby. And he realizes that his needs aren't being met, and he begins to mistrust his caregivers and the world around him. And it's all of a sudden the world is not a safe place for that baby. And what a horrible, horrible way to start out life. And if that's the bad side. If he starts out on the bad side, as he gets older, he might be in the next stage on the bad side. And psychosocially, that's not good. In fact, it's sad. Now let's get him older. Let's have the baby grow up a little bit. Now he's a toddler. Look at him sitting on the potty. See, he's older now. Look how happy he is. His stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt. And I'll explain that. And the big question here is, can I do things for myself? Because he's a little older now. And now he can do some things, and he's not going to be very good at it, but he's going to learn. So, developing autonomy. And autonomy simply means doing things on your own. Now, he explores his world and he gains independence. He learns how to get potty trained. He learns how to feed himself, that kind of thing. See, he's not an infant anymore. And when he does these things, his caregivers need to praise him and encourage him, even if he doesn't do a good job. Like, for instance, suppose he's being potty trained and he knows he has to pee, because when he was a baby, he didn't know he had to pee. He knows how to walk to the potty chair. He knows how to pull down his panties over his pull up. And suppose he pees, but he pees on the floor. And mom or whoever's taking care of him says, "Oh, look, it's a good boy. Look, you pee-peed." And mom says, "I'll clean it up." But she's so proud of her little toddler, because when he was an infant, he couldn't do any of those things. Now, we got to be patient with him, and he'll get better, and one day he will pee in the potty. But just think of all that growing and developing he's done to even get to pee, even if it was on the floor. And he's going to, when mommy praises him, he's going to want to do more things autonomously because he feels safe doing those things. And if we can get him to feel autonomous, then as he gets older, he'll go on to the next stage on the good side. Now, the opposite of autonomy is shame and doubt. And that makes me sad because imagine that he felt he had to pee. He walked to the toilet, he pulled down his pull ups, and he peed on the floor. And what does mommy do? Come in and yell at him and say, "Look what you did. You peed on the floor. Now I got to clean it up. My God, can't you hit the toilet?" That poor little kid is going to feel shameful, and he's going to doubt his abilities to function independently, and he's not going to really want to reach out and do more things like that because he's going to get yelled at. And don't act like that doesn't happen in this world, because it certainly does. So let's get him to be autonomous and praise him instead of him being shameful and doubtful. Now he's going to get older, so let's get him a little bit older now. And now he's preschool. He's like 3 to 5 years old. Their stage is initiative versus guilt. And their big question is, am I good or bad at trying new things? Well, hopefully you're going to be good at trying new things. And even though if you're not perfect at it, hopefully you'll try and you'll get better. I mean, you're not born to be, nobody's perfect. So we've got to at least try. So let's develop initiative. Initiative means doing things on your own, kind of like autonomy did. But he's a little older now, so he can take initiative. And he begins to do more for himself, like help mommy sweep the floor, wipe the table, bring daddy the remote control. He can even put his shoes on, even if they're on backwards. And what mommy or whoever needs to do is praise him. Say, "Oh, look at you, you put on your shoes. Let me help you because they're on the wrong feet. But oh, you did such a good job." I remember when my granddaughter Wesley was about 3 years old. She was in this stage. And I was cleaning the kitchen. She was over to see me. And she got the Windex and she's spraying our big glass window and she's wiping down with paper towels. I'm telling you, that little 3-year-old probably went through half the roll of paper towels cleaning that window. And I did not yell at her. I said, "Oh, thank you, Wesley, for helping Nana. You did such a good job." And she tried to help me sweep the floor. She wasn't that good at it then. She's only 3. But I thanked her and I said, "You just Nana's big helper." And she's going to want to take more initiative because of that. But just think the flip of that. I mean, if she takes initiative, when she gets older, she'll be on the good side of things again, psychosocially. But let's flip it and let's get it. Let's get the bad side. Guilt. If she's going to get yelled at, like, "Why did you use all those paper towels? Don't you know better than that?" Well, she doesn't know better than that. She's only 3. And I yell at her. She's not going to want to do that anymore. She's not going to want to help. She's not going to want to try new things. And she's going to feel guilty because she doesn't want to go do it. And that's really, really sad. And if she's on the bad side of this initiative versus guilt, when she gets older, she'll probably be on the bad side of that stage too. And that's sad. Okay, now she's going to get older. Okay, so now they're going to be school age, like 6 years to 12 years. And their big thing is, how do I measure up to my peers? Well, let's see. I hope you measure up pretty good. Okay, so let's just see here. Their stage is industry versus inferiority. And industry simply means being industrious, being productive. They're older now and they can do even more. Like he can make up his bed, he can do his chores, he can walk the dog, he can feed the cat, he can clean out the cat litter box. There's so many things that he can do. Is he going to be perfect at it? Probably not. Nobody's perfect at everything anyway. And so we need to praise him and encourage him. And if he brought home a C on his report card, then I don't know, you say, "Well, tell me about that subject." He said, "I'm not real good at that subject, but I tried my hardest." I said, "Well, that's good. You passed." I said, "You can maybe try a little bit harder, but that's good. I'm happy for you. That's good. You didn't fail it. That's good." And if he can be industrious, That's the good side. And when he gets older, he can be on the good side of the next stage. Now, let's the flip of that. Inferiority. Inferiority means feeling less than. So just suppose he brought home a C on his report card and dad yelled at him, "What's the meaning of this C? C's aren't allowed in this house. I want straight A's. Don't you dare come back in here with a C. We don't do C's in this family." Well, guess what? Not everybody's a straight A student. Dad, I'm sorry to break that to you, but not everybody is. And he did pass, and if he's trying his hardest, maybe that's the best he can do, and we need to praise him for that. But some people don't praise their kids for that, and then they feel inferior, less than, like I'll never measure up, I'll never meet their standards. And that's sad because it's just a child. Now just think when he gets older, that he's going to get older, he's going to go into another stage. Now he's a teenager, an adolescent, and their stage is identity versus role confusion. And their big question is, who am I? Where do I fit in? That type of thing. So to develop a healthy identity for your teenage person, as they're trying to figure out, who am I? What do I like to do? Who do I want to hang out with? Encourage them to explore. Encourage them to do those things, try those things. Like I remember I was in, let's see, 8th grade, and I wanted to get on the dance team at Southern Junior High School. And no one else had been on it, my family or in the neighborhood, but I thought, I want to do that. That looks like fun. And I did it. And it looks like a lot of the neighborhood girls followed suit, but I loved it. And nobody kept me from doing that. In fact, my mom says, well, great. You want to try? Go ahead. And I loved it. And I stayed 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th, 11th, 12th, and just loved it. Just totally loved it. And that's why I love to dance today. And you get a strong sense of who you are when you're encouraged to explore your identity. Now, if I can know who I am as an adolescent, or begin to know who I am, then when I get a little bit older, I'll be on the good side of things. But let's go to the bad side of things for a minute. Role confusion. If the adolescent is not allowed to explore different avenues, if the parents are too restrictive, the parents are too strict, you're not going to hang out with so and so, or no, you're not going to go to the movies on Friday night, even though everybody else is. If they're too confining, then the child or the adolescent gets stifled, and they don't know and have the freedom to explore who they are, and they get confused of who they are. And that's sad, because just think, if he's confused as an adolescent, what's he going to feel when he gets older? He's probably going to he will go into another stage of development, and he will probably be on the bad side of that too. That's a shame. Now he's going to get older now. Young adulthood, intimacy versus isolation. And that big question is, will I be loved, or will I be alone? Well, let's look into that. Developing intimacy. A young adult is learning how to form deep, meaningful relationships, allowing somebody in your world that you can hold close, who you tell your intimate secrets to, that knows you inside out, loves you anyway, flaws and all, and you let them in intimately. It doesn't necessarily mean getting married, although it could. It could just mean being taking in a very dear friend, and you're so close, and that friend knows you inside and out. That's intimate. And you probably couldn't have done it when you're a child, but you can and understand it more when you are a young adult. And if you can form intimacy with people, then when you get older and go to the next stage, you'll probably be on the good side. Now, the opposite of that is isolation. Suppose the young adult never learned to trust anybody, never learned to let anybody in, pushes people away, doesn't want to share their self with anybody else. They're going to feel isolated. They're going to feel alone. And that's sad. and they're a young adult. Just think how they're going to feel when they get a little bit older. So that's intimacy versus isolation. And they're going to be on shaky ground as they get older. Okay, let's get a little bit older. Now you're about my age, middle adult. And that's generativity versus stagnation. And their big question is, let me share my experiences with others. And I'm doing that right now with you, and I'm on the good side. So let's explain that a little bit. Developing generativity. Generativity simply means to generate, to produce something, to look beyond yourself and give to others. Um, that's just great. It's great. It's like creating a legacy. Like me starting this YouTube channel. I'm not afraid of it. It's taking a long time. And I really want you to enjoy it. But it's me. I've been a nurse, I've been an instructor, and I'm giving to you so you can give to others. And it's very fulfilling. And I'm happy and I'm generating. And this is a good thing. And it doesn't have to be your job. It could be you're involved in church and the church groups. It could be you're raising your children. It could be you're role modeling for your grandkids. It could be the garden you have in your yard that's so beautiful for the neighborhood to enjoy, generating something that's lasting. And if you're not in the generativity piece of it, you'll be in stagnation. And stagnation means stuck in the mud. It means you're too self absorbed. You didn't give to yourself. You're selfish. You were too afraid to generate. Maybe you stayed at the same job for 40 years because you were too afraid to leave. And then you get stagnant and you get bored. And that's not the good side. You feel bad because you just didn't do anything. And that's the stagnation piece. It's like you're moving nowhere. Then our very last stage is this, the older adult, integrity versus despair. And the big question there is, did my life have meaning? Well, I'll tell you what. Integrity simply means I navigated everything. At the end of life, I'm in one piece. I had a good life. It wasn't perfect. It had ups, it downs, but I look back at my life. I'm well satisfied with it, and I can accept it, and I find peace in it. And that's integrity. The opposite of that is despair, and that means I maybe didn't let anybody in. I didn't learn how to trust. I never took initiative. I never was intimate. I never generated, and I'm sad. And what's bad about that, because when you're an older adult, it's probably too late to do anything about that now. And that's sad. Psychosocially, with others in the environment. But there's good news. Dr. Erikson said, just because you had a bad start, just because you got on the bad side in life, doesn't mean you stay on that side. If you can find a trusted teacher, a trusted mentor, a friend, a trusted partner, and things can turn around and you can get out of that rut. And you don't have to be on the bad side psychosocially anymore. And I'll give you an example. Back when I was a teenager, even in just grade school, oh my gosh, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was nervous speaking. If you said you're going to grow up and do a YouTube channel, I was, there's no way. I'm a nervous wreck. I can't do it. But now look at me. I got past that. I got past it, and I'm generating. And I didn't have self-doubt. I had self-doubt earlier, but I don't now. Maybe a little bit, but not all the way. And you can get out of it. And if you can get out of it, then it's all thumbs up. Okay. So that's Erik Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development. And it applies to anybody. Anybody. And I think it was kind of fun. I think it's fascinating. And I would love it if you hit subscribe. And please let me know what you want to hear from me. I would love to teach a bunch of things. Teaching's my thing, and I like it. I just need to create it, put it out there. But anyway, thank you for being here. I love this. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.